Often when guys reach out asking about working with us at Really Align, there's a number of typical objections we tend to hear time and time again, such as, I don't have time for a retreat. It's too long. I don't have the money or it's too expensive. How will I benefit from attending a retreat? Or isn't that a bit weird? What if I don't like the group? What if I don't like the activities? I struggle to share openly and talk about personal things in front of people I don't know. Is this experience even for me? So we want to talk about these questions in the context of why a founder should choose to attend a retreat instead of just taking a regular old holiday. René, I guess you usually do a lot of our client-facing work in the beginning. Have you heard a lot of these statements?
Yes, I have. People often say the timing doesn't work, or I have to finish that project first. I'm now in a building phase, or it's very stressful right now, so I shouldn't do that, which to me are all reasons they should go on a retreat because it helps the process. So yeah, like all of those that you listed, which one do you want me to go in deeper?
No, we can continue to dive into them after, but just as an introduction, like typically what I've found is once people actually take the leap and go through the process of attending the retreat, usually on the back end, they have a very different picture. And they usually come back and say something like, wow, thanks so much. Like, I never would have expected this to happen. And I see how valuable this is now. Of
Yeah.
course, it's easy to look back with hindsight, but
Yeah, that's a little bit of our challenge. It's kind of a new approach. What we do is unique. The methods we use, there is not a lot of things they can look up and read 5,000 reviews, and there is skepticism there for sure. But at the same time, we know now from how many retreats did we have now in total? Maybe 15, 10, 15.
10 to 15, yeah.
That's, yeah, those who can afford it, let's be honest, they're always coming back.
Yeah.
And those who have to save up a little, eventually might also come back. And we never had anybody say, oh, I wish I didn't go. Like, it was always really a great experience, not always easy, sometimes challenging, but always a net positive.
Yeah. In this episode, I want to talk a bit more about why typical holidays don't really work for founders. So obviously entrepreneurs, hardworking, high performing, getting shit done. At some point, they realize they're exhausted. They need to take a break. So they book a trip away, or they get out of town for a couple of days, or go to, I don't know, Majorca or Marbella or somewhere sunny, fancy.
Ibiza.
Yeah, usually Ibiza. Yeah. And so the idea is, when we go on holiday to a nice sunny beachy place, then we'll relax and all our problems will be solved. Great, perfect. Now the challenge is the same holiday you went on when you were 15 to relax doesn't really work when you're 35, because the way you've trained your nervous system over the past 10, 15 years in business doesn't support that anymore. So when you've been training yourself for high performance, almost like an athlete preparing for a race, then there's a certain bracing in the nervous system that prepares itself every day for battle. And so if you go and try to sit by the pool and sip a cocktail and switch off by just not putting any input in, it's not going to work and it's going to be hell. Meanwhile, most guys still try to run their companies while they're on holiday. And they're trying to, be in like some kind of nice resort, which is made for relaxing. And they're trying to take business calls on Zoom by the pool. And it just doesn't really support it. It's not a good environment for that. So they don't really take time off. They try to still work because they feel guilty. And then they end up feeling even worse and come back from the holiday with a stack of things in their inbox and on their desk ready to go.
Probably in the last 3 days of the holiday already thinking about of all the work that is waiting for them.
Exactly.
Like, there's always a reason that the nervous system will find a way to stress about something. If that's your pattern, it's just, yeah, as you said, you can sit there with a cocktail at the beautiful beach, but if you do nothing and you're not used to it, and you get your meaning and your maybe distraction from things, other things in life from work, and suddenly that's gone, this protective mechanism that is work, it will be really hard to relax. And I think with the retreats, it's kind of like we know that, and we give them a productive way where they think they still grow, but curate exercises and an environment where we actively get the body to relax, not only through talking, but also through things like breath work, where it's just a complete nervous system regulation, and suddenly they actually can relax and they get a lot out of it.
Totally. So you hit the nail on the head there. I would describe our retreats as like a productive getaway holiday for high performers. The difference with a retreat, or the way that we kind of curate them, first of all, one of the main pillars is that it's a new environment. So it's a pattern interrupt where they step outside of their normal life. So it's not just about stepping away physically, which is a big part of it, but also even digitally as well. So disconnecting and taking those few days, like really out of office time, where they don't have to think about work. It's easy if you're by the pool to then still be kind of checking in and, because the mind still goes there. But when the mind is in a new environment, but also with content and stimulus in present to focus on, it means that that part is satiated. It's like the Olympic athlete that now has, they're still doing some kind of light exercise. So it's not, they're completely just lying in bed when their body wants to run. At the same time, we give a lot of space and exercises and structured things that they can actually still reflect and think about the things in their life, in their business, in their relationships without distraction. Okay. So again, they can be present, they can be at the retreat with other people. And again, there's human connection happening. So there's engagement, and they can really step out of that world while also looking at the world they came from. And typically what that creates is an environment where they can become aware of what are the things driving them in their usual life and how would they like to step back into it with different intention. The next thing I mentioned already, but there's then you're surrounded by like-minded people. So often for entrepreneurs, founders, they're in an environment where they might have a couple of investors above them. They might have a couple of employees below them. There might be a co-founder or not. And then there's like family, but in general, there's rarely people who are kind of at their level, who see the world in the exact same way, that's in their community or immediate reach, that also is open to talking about things other than business. Might have a great co-founder, but he's more focused on accounts than his emotions. So like-minded guys who see the world the same way, but also are open for depth, that's something that is very nourishing and you'll never get at a beach holiday, put it that way. And then the last piece then is the facilitation and the structure of our programs are designed to guide our attendees into physical, mental, and emotional insights and breakthroughs. So when we mentioned the productive holiday at the retreat, it's you're not just coming to relax. That happens, of course, but you're also coming and getting a lot of value out of it. And you're actually leaving changed on a nervous system level, letting go of a lot of tabs that were open in the background and maybe heavy weight you were carrying, stress you were carrying. So it's a true reset, and we design it that way, as well as new clarity on topics in your life that you can then go and implement right away. So it's not just the 1 week reset, then back to the same old. It's a very deep reset, as well as nourishing all these different things like connection and purpose. And then you're stepping back into life with the awareness and clarity to make changes that are going to start to bring more of that energy also into your day-to-day, which I think is the real sweet spot. So some of the key things that we like to do that with in our retreats, the first one is we typically tend to invite guys, or the guys come to us who are more in the high performer, high achiever category. So guys who like to work hard, are successful, maybe they're building a business, maybe they've already sold or exited a business. And it's a great environment to be surrounded by those like-minded people. And that's what we tend to see in most of the retreats.
Yeah. I think that's also another thing on what you talked about before about being able to relax or put the phone aside for a while, is like seeing these other guys who are in the same sphere also run companies to almost get permission, or they're also doing it. And we're not talking only about business. Oh, there is actually another way. And the group dynamic is powerful in many different ways, as we often speak about. But I think in particular around that topic as well, just getting permission by others to do the same.
The next thing in the retreats that's really powerful is the curated exercises that we create for the guys. So part of the work that we enjoy doing is kind of creating these exercises, and it can be sharing exercises. It can be some kind of what we call embodiment exercises, where we're stepping into or playing out or feeling something. And what it does is there are different things that are primed to activate things in the system so that we can start to get deeper insights. So that's kind of part A. The deep exercises really is what like brings up the deeper feelings or whatever to the surface that maybe we wouldn't have the space to access usually. And then the part B is another unique thing that we use is the connected breathwork. So the breathwork kind of finishes off what the deep exercises activate. So usually in the mornings in our retreats, we would have some kind of thing that's designed to provoke thought, provoke feeling, provoke deeper introspection. And then we talk about with the group and everyone kind of gets their insights. And then we go into the breath work with very clear intention. And usually in the breath work is where we can really bring guys into like very deep levels of clarity and feeling and breakthroughs and openings. And that's really where the magic happens usually.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what makes our retreats unique is like this blend of the two things. I think now we have so much experience with different founders that we kind of know the patterns. We know which exercises work, which really bring just the stuff they're maybe not aware of themselves to the surface. What are the deeper layers? What are the reasons why I always feel stressed or why I don't feel my emotions or why my relationship doesn't work? Whatever it is, we kind of bring exercises forward that reveal a little bit more about of the blocks, then getting inspired by hearing the other people sharing authentically about their challenges and stories, because sometimes another guy will share something and then another person might think, oh, that's me as well. Oh, that's the reason I'm feeling like this. So they also then connect over this. And as you said, in the end, we finish it off with breathwork. That is just, if you have never experienced it before, it's hard to explain in words, but you can just shut off your thinking mind and feel emotions and things that you maybe haven't felt in a long time. And with that, you get a lot of clarity. And with that, you get a lot of relaxation as well. So even on a retreat, they can be pretty intense, a lot of talking, a lot of maybe emotions, which can be considered intense, much more intense than sitting at the beach with a cocktail. But with the breath work and the nervous system regulation and the relaxation phase in the end, you can still go to bed much more relaxed than if you had spent the whole day at the beach thinking about your company.
Yes, agreed. Now, another, I think, key pillar of our retreats is this mix between the rational and the spiritual. So we really want to bring in the guys and meet them where they're at in terms of if you've just flown out of Berlin and you've been working on your company, it's no good to go right into the center of the spiritual home in Bali and then start doing some weird woo-woo stuff. We want to really meet everyone on a very grounded level and at their own decision or own pace, they can find what lies beyond in that kind of more open connection to self, connection to something bigger. And another way we do that is by the beautiful locations. So I know you love to scout out
Love it.
great places in nature. What's your favorite in terms of retreats? What have been some of your favorite locations that we've had?
I think if I have to just answer from my gut feeling, I will say Georgia. I wouldn't say it's like, of course, Bali, for example, is an amazing place for many reasons. But if I'm just thinking about a 1 week retreat where we're going deep into ourselves, and let's be honest, nobody has been in Georgia. Like almost nobody I know has ever been there. Nobody knows the food there. It's a different world, and it's surrounded by these huge mountains, 5,000-meter peaks, plus the most amazing chalet that I've ever seen that used to be built by the Georgian president back in the day, and then they sold it. Now we can rent it, luckily. Perfect mix of luxury and coziness with a huge terrace, sun, mountains around. And it's just something about being in that environment that people just really feel, okay, I'm not at home now. I'm not in my normal life. Every single dish on the table is something I usually don't eat. People look different, talk different, and it's interesting. And it just allows to separate from your normal patterns that you have. And I think that's kind of like something I have the desire to go deeper in, even find some other locations that people really have never been to, like Kyrgyzstan or something with the horses through the nature. So for those who've been to a few normal retreats, maybe that's something in the future. Or going to Lapland in Finland, see the Northern Lights and all of that stuff. So it should be a mix of seeing a beautiful place, nature, and being far away from everyday life, plus having a great program. It's like all the elements that should be included.
Totally. I think it's like this mix of the group, then the program and the content, the techniques we use, but then also the environment really makes the difference as well. And you could have the same group and the same program, but the environment changing can also have such a big impact on the feeling,
totally.
you know? And that also creates novelty in the mind in the sense of like, there's something shifting and changing. We don't get to turn everything into a wallpaper right away. So there's a constant feeling of surprise or delight at new backdrops. Yeah. And I think that constant changing and shifting will also have an impact on the group in terms of how the energy can move and feel like almost you've lived more than 3 or 4 days because you've been in so many new places while also staying in the same place.
For sure.
So one of the things we want to describe here is we've got 2 main experiential offerings for our high performers, our founders that want to come work with us. The first one is like the typical really align retreats, which are 1 week long. And I would see these as 1 week of deep personal transformation and growth, which is a chance to kind of, as we just said, escape your usual environment and go deep with a group of fellow founders. And then we have this other offering called the Founder House, which we just did recently here in Asia. And the Founder House is more of a holistic, all areas of life transformation. It's 3 weeks, it's a bit longer. And it is a live-in experience where you live in a villa, like a really beautiful spot with a group of high performers. And it's this program that's been built around optimizing and growing in every area of life. So not just personal development, but also fitness, spiritual up-leveling, opening emotions, but then also mental insights, masterminding, also connection, networking and stuff.
Lots of sports.
Exactly.
Like paddle, stuff like this, and just enjoying the lifestyle as well. It's a bit more space.
Yeah, more lifestyle oriented for sure. And we've had guys who've attended both offerings and both say that they're both super valuable for their own reasons, you know? So I want to describe a few more things about, first of all, the regular retreat. Regular retreat usually tends to be more concentrated and you could even say intense. If you're someone who wants to, you don't have a lot of time, you want to just take 1 week away and really get the most bang for your buck, and you might say productive holiday, I would say that the regular retreat, such as the ones in Georgia, such as in Turkey, are a really great offering. These are fully focused on depth and growth. Of course, we do have some fitness and stuff in the morning. We do some hikes in the mountains and that kind of thing, but it's really a deep focus on personal topics and going deep on those areas. And it's this really intentional break away from your everyday life. And they continue to be a great success for all the people that attend them. Then on the other side, we have the Founder House, which is the 3 weeks, the more, we'll say, spaced out journey, where it's more lifestyle, it's more fun. People are still doing their usual work. One of the benefits of doing it in Asia is then the time difference means that, work doesn't start till kind of 2 or 3 p.m., which is really handy. And it's this holistic approach, which is the private personal trainer, the private chef for clean meals, there's biohacking, there's fun activities, there's excursions and trips.
Escaping the winter.
Escaping the winter in Europe. Some of the guys like to go on dates, whatever fills your cup.
Bali's not a bad place for that.
Absolutely. If you're single, it's a good one. And it's this mix of, again, personal topics and time to integrate those insights, as well as the business topics and even some masterminds or collaborations emerging between the guys, which is valuable and beneficial for them. So we're going to close with a couple of the main limiting beliefs of our clients, or what they would have shared with us in the beginning when we first spoke to them about why they should attend a retreat instead of a typical holiday. So one of the things that people often say in the beginning is that they struggle to share openly or talk about personal topics with others in front of a group. So how has that developed usually for you?
I think this is one of the main doubts they have before coming, and it turns out to be one of the biggest benefits that they give feedback over afterwards. Because they think it's something scary, they think it's something maybe shameful, or that they will be judged, or it's uncomfortable to talk with people they don't know yet about personal things. But that is actually the very experience that over and over and time again proves to be one of the most valuable things, to be received, to be able to show up without mask, to create really deep friendships for who you really are, as we like to say, without pretending. And I think, yes, some people need a day or two to really get accustomed to it, but it's also our job to create that space. And again, I think by now we know very well how to do that. We've done it a lot. And by latest day 3, all masks are off and everybody's just fully there and just, super appreciates being seen by these other guys for who they really are. And the biggest doubt that they had before is a non-issue.
Totally. The next big one that typically people would share at the start is that, as you said, they don't have time. They don't have time to take a week away, to fly to somewhere beautiful. Well, the question I would say is, what could change as a result of taking that time? What time could you win back in the future as a result of taking the chance to go deep now? And a ship driving even 1 degree in the wrong direction at some point may go off course and hit an iceberg. Yeah. So taking that time to realign your ship, to make sure it's moving in the direction you really want it to, is super valuable, because if you keep doing the same thing you've always been doing, you're going to get the same result you've always had.
And recharge your energy. Like, you come back with so many insights, clarity, things that will save you time and energy. So it's always going to be net positive.
Totally. Another big one that we usually hear is it's too expensive.
it's fair enough. It is expensive, but this is a funny one. And maybe I have said this before, but I still love this moment last year in Greece when one of the guys just was standing up and said, guys, honestly, did you all think it was expensive? But now, honestly, it's cheap. He was like standing there. It's cheap for what we're getting here. Great, best ROI. And it was like great for us because if we say it, it lands different. But it was actually one of the guys. And I think repeatedly, there was never anybody ever afterwards saying, oh, guys, but for what we got, it was quite expensive. Or I wish I didn't get. Not at all. It's funny that for everybody, it's kind of a big question mark in the start. And one of the first questions they ask. And in the end, it's an absolute non-issue. Of course, if you can afford it, some people can't. But if you can, it's definitely worth it.
Totally. And then like the last one that typically people will ask is how exactly will they benefit? And for that, I want to finish this episode with a couple of words from some of our guys that have attended some of our past retreats, and we'll let them say it better than maybe we ever could.
Working with Relay Line with Pete and René changed my life.
Hi, my name is Raphael Frank, co-founder of Glow25, one of the top 10 fastest growing e-commerce companies in Europe.
My name is Johannes. I'm the founder of Zontal.
I'm Konrad Geiger, co-founder of PowerUs.
Hi, my name is Sandro. I'm the co-founder of Intermate.
Hey, my name is Lucas Altamar. I'm the co-founder of Service for Charger.
Working with René and Pete from Relay Line has helped me to really live an authentic life.
Working with Relay Line has really, and I know like people in this space, I use it quite lightly, but I don't, has really transformed my life.
Working together with René and Pete has really helped me to truly align with myself, gain more confidence and found self-love.
I feel like the process of working with Pete and René is probably the most special one I ever experienced in my life, and I've been working with coaches since 2017, so for 8 years in total. And what I really love about the work with the guys is that I instantly felt safe and seen when I started working with them. I also felt that they not only talked the talk, but went the walk and really worked on themselves and were capable to hold me in this depth of experience, and how I'm tapping deeper and deeper month after month. And this is also why I already know somehow that I will be here in this for a very, very long time.